you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Oh my gosh. We have been waiting on a new filing in Letecia's lawsuit for a while. I'm surprised it wasn't dismissed before now, but we finally now have our filing. And if you haven't been following along with her ridiculous lawsuit against the prison she's in, she's claiming that they've withheld things from her for punishment. And she's also claiming that they've sexually harassed her and other things like that. I think that it will be easy for you to catch up if you don't know the details or if you've forgotten, because they've put a little summary at the beginning. It's a long filing, over 100 pages with exhibits showing the different complaints that she made, and different things like that. So it might take us more than today to get through it. But I'm excited because we finally have a new filing, and I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to happen after this. So I'm happy to see you guys. Hey, Bogart. Love your channel. Love you all. Love you back. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. Rainbow, go lay down. Sorry, you guys. The dog, of course, he'll be so good and quiet until I go live. And then chaos. Okay. So also, I wanted to let you guys know that this filing will be up on Patreon after the live. It'll be the first thing I do as soon as the live's over, and it'll be available on the free tier. So you don't have to pay to see it or any other court paperwork. Anything we go over, I like to upload there so that other people can download it to their device and go through it themselves. And I truly recommend, no matter what, if you're watching true crime, if you're watching even drama, if you're watching whatever, the news, always look for yourself. Do research yourself, do some digging yourself, make sure that you can verify things that can be verified. So, hello to all of you guys in the chat. I'm happy to see you. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm not going to go through an individual hellos because I don't have too much time with you guys. I'll be here until about 7. And if whatever we don't get through, we can finish tomorrow. I want to say thank you to Lil Red for getting this and sending it to me. And I'm going to drop her channel. She has her own channel. She's reading books and things like that over there. Oh, Music City Mom, thank you for gifting a membership. And good to see you. Thank you. And welcome to whoever got it. But go check out Lil Red's channel. Hey, Chief. Let me just double check something while we're here. Okay. I wanted to see if Jen wanted to join. I got to get her the link because I had to ask her, because Jen has went through, a lot of this with us, all of it, I believe, pretty much every live that we've had on it. Okay. So let's see if maybe this will be a better way to do it. Yeah. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, you guys coming in. Let's see. Internet looks okay. Okay, now she's got the link. So we'll get started. She'll come up when she can or wants to. And yeah, they have put like a brief. Let me just go ahead and show you. So this is Letecia Stauch versus Jeff Zmuda and many other defendants. And this is their partial motion to dismiss. They're going to run through how they see the case and what they think actually happened versus her claims. So defendants Jeff Zmuda, Darcy Halthus, Donna Hook, Holly Chavez, Dalton Hartpence, and Dietrich respectfully request through Assistant Attorney General Matthew Shoger that this court dismiss the claims against them under this civil rule. Defendants attach 3 new exhibits outlined in the table below and state the following in support. As an initial manner, a partial motion to dismiss requesting dismissal of some but not all claims in a case tolls the deadline to file an answer for claims under another civil rule. They go on to say, alternatively, if the court holds that the answer deadline is not told, defendants request an extension. So this is going to give you like the background of what's going on here in their nature of the case. Angela says, Tisha is a freaking scammer and thinks she's smarter than everyone in the room. Well, it's really interesting. Okay, so in case you haven't followed along, Letecia isn't the only inmate at the prison to make very similar claims. There's a whole group of women. One of those women has spoken out and explained, why she's suing the jail. And she also said at the time that Letecia is kind of the civil suit in-house attorney in the jail. So she's helping all the other inmates come up with their motions that they're filing and stuff like that. So she definitely thinks she's the smartest person in the room now. That's for sure. It's just so crazy to think that Letecia is the one writing the motions and stuff for other people. Oh, good God. She is not. She is the jailhouse attorney. Lord. I know. She's not only, and there's another thing we learned along the way that'll be interesting. It might come up in this. Letecia claims that her tablet was taken from her for a for them to punish her, that she hadn't done anything wrong, but it was like revenge. And come to find out, we found out, no, her tablet was taken because she sold a pair of her sweatpants, her jail sweatpants, for $200 on eBay. So there's a lot to this, and they're going to run through it. So hopefully for people that haven't followed, or if you have, it will make sense. So nature of the case. Plaintiff Letecia Stauch, an inmate currently incarcerated at Topeka Correctional Facility, alleges that since she was transferred to the prison in August of 2023, her constitutional rights have been violated in various ways. In count 1, she alleges under the First Amendment that her legal mail has been tampered with by defendants Chavez, Hook, Zmuda, and Hartpence. In count 2, she alleges under the Eighth Amendment that defendant Dietrich sexually assaulted her, and that defendants Chavez, Hook, and Zmuda failed to act on the alleged abuse and forced her to stay around her alleged abuser. Now, I want to pause there. Regardless of who it is, I've said from the beginning, claims of sexual assault should be looked into, whether we hate Tisha or not. There's a lot of women in the prison, and they're not there to be sexually assaulted. I think that that's a really serious allegation. She's been known to make these allegations in the past, okay? But against lots of other people she worked with, people Al worked with, whatever, she's just known to do that. But regardless, it should be taken seriously. That's the one thing that I can't really laugh at in this, and I hope that they will. Long before Letecia was there were inmates making horrific claims about this prison. So I don't think it's the best place to be. But Fluffy Cloud Creations, thank you for joining. We got some good Tisha emojis and the membership emojis. I don't know what's still there because I've kind of switched them around. But so she claims that she's been forced to stay around her alleged abuser. In count 3, she alleges under the First Amendment that her free exercise rights were violated by defendants Chavez, Holthus, Hook, and Zmuda because no Jewish church services were available. She could not attend church services without switching her religious affiliation to a religious group that held active church services, and she could not receive a kosher diet. Although Stauch made other claims in her complaint, the court dismissed her other claims when they screened the case. Now, this is what the jail says previously that we know, just to fill you guys in. Letecia did get a kosher diet. Then she was eating in front of the guards other things. She was even bragging to the guards, oh, now I'm going to make this dessert out of blah, 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 using all these different things. That's why they took her kosher meals at one point. She's had lawsuits against the last jail too, so everything kind of runs together. But they literally said that she was laughing, joking, and bragging about what she was making, and they signed an agreement to only eat kosher. So Lil Red, let me drop your link again, and thank you for getting this for us. And then I'm going to drop Bendy's link. Like I said, I invited her. She said she was going to come, but I forgot to send the link until right when we started. So hopefully she'll come. Hey, Meta Mom Christy. Okay, so let's continue. Although Stauch made a, okay, those claims were dismissed. Stauch filed this lawsuit in February of last year, 2024, and filed her amended complaint in March of 2024. A Martinez report was filed on July 12th. The court finished screening the complaint on October 31st. Stauch seeks compensatory damages and injunctive relief. Defendants now file their partial motion to dismiss. Letecia wants to be moved. She's also got these claims about they are holding her illegally. She shouldn't be in Kansas. She should be in Colorado. So that's part of this. Oh, Melanie, thank you. Yeah, that is part, or to Little Red, thank you. Antigen. Please go check them out. Hey, Pinche Becky. I was the first to know I was doing harm reduction classes, and I was so proud to announce it here when I became certified, way before the other stuff. And I'm still so proud of you. And I hope you're still doing your channel, Pinche. I haven't seen anything recently, but I am subscribed to a lot of channels, so I could easily miss it. But let us know. You guys should check out Pinche Becky's channel. Tess, can you grab her link? Okay. So the court should dismiss official capacity claims for monetary damages for lack of subject matter jurisdiction due to 11th Amendment immunity. The court should dismiss individual capacity claims for injunctive relief as unavailable under S. 1983. The court should dismiss the remaining claims against defendants under counts 1 and 3 in Rule 12b as a matter in abatement for failure to exhaust administrative remedies under the Prison Litigation Reform Act. Alternatively, defendants request an evidentiary hearing on the exhaustion issue, or for the court to convert this motion to a summary judgment motion and grant the defendant's summary judgment on counts 1 and 3 due to failure to exhaust administrative remedies. She's complaining about certain things that she never complained about, too. That's another thing. So they're saying, we want a hearing, damn it. We want her to come show the evidence of what she's claiming. And we want to show ours, which some of it's in here. Dr. Tisha, the constitutional scholar. Yeah. What is it? What is it you're called again when you're, illiterate. Yeah. The illiterate doctor. And that comes from her prison paperwork. They said that. I'm just repeating what they said. So further, in the alternative, the interference with mail claim should be dismissed for failure to state a claim because the District of Colorado's orders were mailed to the wrong address. And claims for compensatory damages under counts 1 and 3 should be dismissed due to lack of a physical injury or sexual act with regard to those counts. If this motion was fully granted, the only remaining claims would be individual capacity claims for compensatory damages under count 2 and official capacity claims for injunctive relief under the same count, all against only defendants Dietrich, Chavez, Hook, and Zmuda. Okay. So, arguments and authorities. Number 1, the 11th Amendment bars Stauch's S. 1983 claims against defendants in their official capacities for monetary damages. Let's see. They say, here Stauch requests prospective injunctive relief against the defendants, and this particular remedy is exempt from 11th Amendment immunity. But Stauch also requests monetary damages in the form of compensatory damages, which are barred by the 11th Amendment as asserted against defendants in their official capacities. Therefore, her claims against defendants should be dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Then they go into claims for injunctive relief against government officials, even if phrased as individual capacity claims, are effectively official capacity claims because the plaintiff seeks to change the behavior of the governmental entity. Here, Stauch cannot bring claims against under S. 1983 for injunctive relief. Those claims are effectively official capacity claims. Now, 3, as a matter in abatement, counts 1 and 3 should be dismissed because Stauch failed to exhaust her administrative remedies. So, meaning she didn't turn certain things in, but now she's mad they didn't do something about it, is what it seems. So, let's see. I want to skip over some of the where they're just citing case law, because we got a lot of exhibits and stuff, and get to that. Let's see. Matters in abatement include not only exhaustion, but also jurisdiction, venue, and service of process, and such matters are not traditionally matters for a jury. Hold on, you guys. Let's see. Because the failure to exhaust is treated as a matter in abatement and not adjudication on the merits, the district court may consider facts outside the pleadings so long as the factual disputes do not decide the merits and the parties have sufficient opportunity to develop a record. Because failure to exhaust is an affirmative defense, the burden of asserting failure to exhaust lies with the defendants. So the 10th Circuit limited SUA sponte dismissals based on failure to exhaust when the failure is evident from the face of the complaint. So let's go down a little bit. The undersigned counsel has diligently searched and has been unable to find any Supreme Court or 10th Circuit decisions declining to allow evidence regarding exhaustion to be considered on a motion to dismiss. So to treat exhaustion under the PLRA as a matter in abatement would not require ignoring any holdings from the Supreme Court or 10th Circuit. The PLRA requires an inmate to exhaust all available administrative remedies before bringing a claim about prison conditions. And then they quote several laws about this, which I'm saying she did not do. The KDOC grievance procedure for inmates is set forth in KAR, more case law. Here, this regulation applies to Stauch's claim because her claim involves the alleged actions of Kansas Department of Corrections employees. An inmate must take 4 steps to complete the grievance process. 1, attempt an informal resolution with unit team members. 2, submit a grievance to an appropriate unit team member. 3, submit a grievance to the warden. And then 4, appeal to the Secretary of Corrections. And y'all are about to see some of the things the letters and things she wrote to the secretary. Let's see. Step 2, the inmate must include documentation of the informal resolution attempt. And step 2 must occur within 15 days of discovery of the issue, not counting weekends or holidays. If the inmate does not receive a response at steps 2 or 3 within 10 days, they can move to the next step, but must do so within 3 days of a deadline. So there's a process you have to follow. Jeez, you guys, coughing. Stauch failed to appeal any grievances regarding her current claims to the secretary. Stauch is currently incarcerated, and she brings conditions of confinement under these claims. So the PLRA's exhaustion requirement applies. Kansas Department of Corrections has supplemented its paper grievance system with the option of using an electronic grievance system. For general grievances filed in the electronic grievance system, an informal resolution attempt comes first. Then grievances go through 4 levels, with level 4 grievances representing an appeal to the secretary. In October of 2023, Stauch sent an informal letter directly to the secretary to raise various matters of concern. The letter attached what appears to be simulated court filing that included mention of religious issues. But this informal letter and its unusual attachment did not follow the formal grievance procedures. So she didn't report to the warden and then, appeal that decision. She just sent a letter to the secretary with a bunch of concerns. So in December, the Secretary of Corrections designee responded to the informal letter that she sent directly to the secretary, attempting to raise multiple matters of concern, including a diet based on religious prescriptions. But this informal letter did not follow the formal grievance procedures of KDOC. In January, Stauch appealed her grievance to the secretary. This grievance complained about the Interstate Corrections Compact, that she was being held in Kansas, and without any elaboration, that her civil liberties were being denied. This grievance does not relate to any of her current claims, and she failed to attach documentation of her informal resolution attempt. In February, she filed a combined appeal of grievance and informal request numbers. Look at all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she combined 8 different grievances. Oh my God, she's something else, dude. And sent that to the secretary. Because the lower grievance steps had not been completed, the secretary forwarded the appeal to the warden for the facility's response to each of the related grievances. A technical issue with the electronic grievance system at the prison during this time frame had resulted in a backlog of grievances that had not been responded to. Due to Stauch being suspended from electronic access at this time, all further grievance correspondence was done by paper. Now we'll get into the warden's response. Hey, Justin, in Aunt B's voice. Ash, bitch, speaking of that, hold on. Let me grab something I was going to grab. So the warden responded to this particular grievance that ends in 6-1 by paper on February 20th. The grievance complained about the prison's general order and what it says about curfew and access to the day room. It does not relate to any of Letecia's current claims. However, after receiving a response from the warden, Stauch did reappeal to the secretary. You're kidding. She did not. Hold on.
You know what he told me?
What?
He said, that girl ain't going lacking for food. He said, when I seen her on television, she gained so much weight, I didn't even...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I actually haven't gained weight. That's why I don't understand why people think that.
You were big. I'm serious. You look big.
I only weighed 140 something.
Well, you look humongous. But anyway, darling, I know it's time for us to go. I'll holler at you later. I love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.
All right, be careful, baby.
Please stay tuned.
Sorry. I love hearing Aunt B clown her ass like that. Oh, but you were big. Whoopi, you look humongous. Okay. Now back to this. Now the warden responded. She appealed that, of course. The facility responded to grievance ending in 3-1 by paper letter on March 8th. The grievance complained about sexual harassment. Does not relate to counts 1 or 3. However, after receiving a response from the facility, Stauch did reappeal to the secretary. Of course she did. The facility responded to an emergency grievance ending in 4-1 by paper letter on or around February 21st. The emergency grievance complained of alleged sexual harassment, physical abuse, attempts to kill her, and threats from the chaplain. So she told, and we're going to see this, it's Exhibit B, pages 24 through 25. We'll get there today, actually, which is great. She said that the chaplain was threatening her and people were attempting to, trying to kill her and stuff. She did receive a response and she did not reappeal this grievance to the secretary. Wow. I wonder why. So the warden responded to an emergency grievance, again, ending in 8-1 by paper letter in March of last year. The grievance mentioned preparing to file a suit for religious reasons, including no Bible. After receiving a response from the warden, she did not reappeal the grievance to the secretary. Informal request numbers in 3-1, 7-1, and 6-1 were not grievances and had been responded to prior of February 2024. Informal request ending in 9-1 was turned into a grievance ending in 11. Chavez responded to that grievance by paper letter on February 20th. The grievance complained about law library resources and access. It does not relate to Stauch's current claims. Regardless, after receiving Chavez's response, she did not reappeal this grievance. In February, she appealed grievance ending in 8-1 to the secretary. The grievance complained about PREA-based retaliation by persons other than defendants. It does not relate to Stauch's current claims. In February or March, so she thinks because she had all these different grievances, this is what I think. She thinks because she had all these different grievances, even though they didn't have anything to do with the ones in the lawsuit, that she complained enough to the secretary and let them know what was going on, and they did nothing. She didn't follow the process that you have to follow. Again, another grievance about alleged violations of PREA. And then it says Stauch did not file any other grievance appeals to the secretary between the time of her being transferred to Topeka in August and her amended filing in March of 2024, the next year. D. Stauch's grievances and letters do not satisfy the exhaustion requirement. Stauch never filed a former grievance related to counts 1 or 3 and appealed it through the proper steps to the highest level. Therefore, she failed to properly exhaust administrative remedies for her claims, and those claims should be dismissed under 12B. Now, alternatively, defendants want a hearing. They want, I agree, Lil Red. I think she wants to be sent back to Colorado, period. I totally agree with you on that. A Christian Jewish person. Yeah, she couldn't even make her grievance correct with dates and details. You're exactly right. And like I said, they've attached a lot of this stuff they're mentioning. That one reply still rings in my head from the grievance readings. You guys, if you haven't seen my series, Tidbits of Tisha, those are her grievances at Colorado. But it's still really interesting. We went through the entire prison file, which was like 3,000 pages. So it's several episodes. But some of them are pretty short and pre-recorded, not lives. There's a playlist on my channel. Okay. So alternatively, defendants want a hearing. Damn it. In the alternative, if the court believes an evidentiary hearing is necessary to resolve the exhaustion issue at the dismissal stage, then defendants request a hearing regarding the exhaustion issue prior to any proceedings on the merits of the case, including prior to any answer to the complaint being required and prior to any discovery on the merits. They also request a court convert this motion to a motion for summary judgment. Alternatively, Stauch fails to state a claim for interference with legal mail and for compensatory damages. So they want to dismiss that. They say she fails to state a claim for interference with legal mail because the District of Colorado's orders were mailed to the wrong address. Stauch makes vague and conclusory claims that I'm sorry. It is bullshit. She's stupid and it makes you laugh the shit she thinks she can get away with. But then it makes you mad because it's bullshit, and it's these people have other important things to deal with. The warden, the secretary of a prison. I mean, I don't know. So she makes vague and conclusory claims that unspecified legal mail was interfered with. But the court previously found validation of these claims in an order from the U.S. District Court in Colorado. That order seemingly implied that the Postal Service returned an earlier court order as undeliverable after an attempted delivery to Stauch's place of incarceration in Kansas. But the court can take judicial notice of other court records from that related case. One second, you guys. This dog. Okay. That's what he does. That's him talking back. He's pissed. I made him get in the kennel for a little bit. But he's messing with stuff and I can't watch him and read this and talk to you guys. So I'm sorry, you guys. Let me continue. So they go on to say that while the District of Colorado had ordered its clerk to mail the order in question to Stauch at the Kansas prison, the court records show plainly that the clerk failed to do so and actually mailed the order to the wrong address. It was not sent to the prison address until after the incorrectly addressed item had been returned as undeliverable. The docket does not contain any indication that the correctly mailed item was ever returned undeliverable. Therefore, the District of Colorado case ultimately provides no support for Stauch's conclusory allegations, because all that remains are vague and conclusory allegations that fail to specify any legal mail items that were interfered with, so something was sent to the wrong place, and she claims her mail's being read and gone through. I wonder if she wants to go back because she thinks Al will come visit. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's easier there. I do know that as soon as we found out she was in Kansas, we started looking up stuff about the prison, and there were so many claims of how it was a rough prison. So maybe that's why. Stauch is not entitled to compensatory damages under the PLRA for counts 1 or 3 when she cannot show physical injury or a sexual act. So Stauch cannot receive damages for a mental or emotional injury suffered while in custody without a prior showing that there was an injury or the commission of a sexual act. For these reasons, defendants request that the court dismiss the official capacity claims for monetary damages and lack of subject matter jurisdiction. I am surprised this has went on for this long, truly. But they have to do their due diligence and, give her a fair shot at looking at her claims. They also request a hearing. Further, an alternative, they request to dismiss the failure to state a claim with the interference with mail claim. These are big allegations that she made. Now we're going to look at the declarations of some of the accused and what they say actually happened. So first we have Darcy Holthus. Let me check on you guys. Hey, Nurse Ann. I get so much satisfaction out of her being miserable. Well, it ain't Prisneyland. Is it Prisneyland? How would those texts look in this lawsuit where she was saying back then that she was in Prisneyland and stuff, So Darcy Holthus, she says, I, Darcy Holthus, being of lawful age, make the following declaration relating to the captioned matter based upon my personal knowledge and information made known to me from official records reasonably relied upon by me in the course of my employment. I am currently the corrections manager at the Kansas Department of Corrections. I have worked for the KDOC for 4 years. As part of my job duties, I have access to inmate grievance records. In addition to the paper grievance system already in place, KDOC has supplemented that system with an electronic grievance system across all facilities. Inmates can make use of the electronic system to file informal resolution attempts, grievances, and grievance appeals. Informal grievance letter from October 17th. She said in October 2023, Stauch sent an informal letter attempting to raise various matters of concerns to the Secretary of Corrections. Exhibit 1 consists of fair and accurate copies of that informal letter to the Secretary of Corrections' response to it. The first page of Exhibit 1 is the Secretary's response to the informal letter. Starting with the second page, the pages were scanned in as they were received from inmate Stauch and are in the same order they were received from her. December 2023, the Secretary of Corrections designee responded to an informal letter from Stauch to the Secretary of Corrections that had attempted to raise multiple matters of concern involving stomach issues, mental health treatment, and diet. Exhibit 2 is a fair and accurate copy of their response to that letter. So we're going to see her letter, their response, her letter, their response. In January, she appealed a grievance, and Exhibit 3 consists of copies of that appeal. The first page of Exhibit 3 is the response to the appeal, and they were scanned as they were received. And then again, with all of those other appeals, the combined ones, they have that in here as well as Exhibit 4. In February, there was the next grievance with 8-1, and that is Exhibit 5. The first page of Exhibit 5 is the response. In February or March, she appealed these grievances, and that is Exhibit 6. In February or March, she also appealed another grievance, and that is Exhibit 7, including the response. Exhibit 8 is another grievance. She says, I searched KDOC's records and did not find any other grievance, personal injury claim, or property loss claim appeals to the secretary. This includes reappeals. To be especially clear, during this time frame, other than the reappeal of these grievances, Stauch did not reappeal any other grievances. So she's making all these claims in the lawsuit, but she never even made claims about some of these things to us. She did appeal these other things, and they're all included. Hey, Ava. Are you guys having warm weather, by the way? I am so freaking excited. Okay, so here we are, Exhibit 1. Remember, it's going to start with the response and then what she wrote. So instead of let's start here. On October 17th, oh God almighty, these are her claims, and then it goes to her response. It's put in a little backwards, and that's what that was explaining. So we'll start with what she sent. This was her first complaint to the secretary. Oh, geez. So hot here. It's been so nice here, too. Oh, awesome, Pointer. It's raining here. Well, you're about to hear it. Call me Sadie. About to go through her grievances and what they said to her. Oh, you have bunnies, Ash? That's cool. In conclusion, Your Honor, Letecia is a lying-ass liar. We've had warm, cold, warm. Yeah, I saw where I used to live. It's warm today, but it's going to be super freaking cold tonight. Oh, Bendy isn't coming, you guys, but that's okay. We probably have a part 2 anyways, and she can come. Hold on. Okay. 82, but feels 90. Wow. Dang. It's really warm here in LA. Took a walk to the marina. That's awesome. Okay. Well, now let's get into Letecia's first grievance. 2, Secretary of Corrections. A, the interstate transfer deprives the inmate of liberty interest protected by due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Inmate is illegally restrained of her liberties, and this leads to illegal detention. B, present confinement is invalid per both state laws and statutes. Wait, statues. I don't know how, my brain isn't. She's talking about like statues, like big, stone carvings of people and horses and different things, not the actual laws and statues. Wait, like I said, my brain is not working. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me continue. Present confinement is invalid because it includes First Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Eighth Amendment, and 14th Amendment violations. Purpose of providing adequate quarters care and appropriate program of rehabilitation of treatment. E, inmates shall be treated in a reasonable and humane manner and shall be cared for and treated equally with such similar inmates. In addition, administrative segregation is atypical because no prison in the U.S. to which one might be transferred to for non-disciplinary reasons is more restrictive. F, denial of appropriate mental health care, and it rises to the level listed in Article 2 in both Colorado and Kansas under the Interstate Corrections Compact section. The transfer to this state, meaning you sending me to Kansas, has infringed on my constitutional rights, and present confinement is invalid. The receiving state shall not deprive inmates of any said rights. If inmates would have had these in the sending state, those in question are First, Sixth, Eighth, and 14th Amendment, and to include administrative seg is illegal at Colorado DOC. She actually spelled it right this time. I had to double check myself, but she has gotten the statutes wrong multiple times. Okay. The false security concerns are a retaliation method for threatened litigation for constitutional violations. So they're retaliating against me because I threatened to sue already in fucking October. You guys, she just got there in August. She was already threatening to sue them. The claim is unreasonable and exaggerated and not based on a security concern that is genuine. Prisoner does not have prior records of misconduct, and the escape claims are for personal gain, media, and housing manipulation from inmates, officers, and or the public, and have been for 4 years. They are not valid. CIs are not reliable, and claims are not founded. Letecia. So she's claiming that her escape was bullshit. It's not valid. And that it was for other inmates, or it was for personal gain, media or housing manipulation. That's why they claim that she escaped. Don't, like, in case you remember the letter that they showed of her planning the escape, forget about that. That never happened. PJ, thank you for being a member for 15 months. Congratulations on 20K subs, or 21. Thank you, PJ. I appreciate that so much. I cannot believe that. She literally just trying to entertain herself, I swear. Yeah, of course it didn't happen. It was all for manipulating housing and the media and personal gain. For who? The DA? I mean, you literally... Like, she almost got charged with. She could have gotten serious trouble for her peanut butter, or not peanut butter threats. That's around the same time for her trying to fit through the window and planning that whole thing. I mean, she literally remember they found a letter she sent her daughter that was like, if you hear or see anything on the news, don't worry, I'm okay. All right. Now, to show, she put, documentation purpose only. Look at what she sent them before she ever filed. Oh my God. Before she ever filed her complaint, she sent them a copy of what it would look like for documentation purpose only, to show I've exhausted all remedies through grievances. She's threatening to sue, right? To scare them into like giving her her way. Ugh, tongue-tied. Look at this. United States District Court for the District of Kansas. Case number to be determined. Letecia Stauch is a citizen of Colorado who presently resides at Topeka Correctional Facility in Kansas. She lists the prison and the warden and all of them, and she says they have been given the issues at hand with the interstate compact violations of civil liberties and remedies/relief. This is for documentation purposes for central office to exhaust the final remedy before filing the actual complaint. Copy was made October 24th. So she literally, oh my God almighty, Lord help me. I cannot believe she sent them written out like a lawsuit would look. You know, Letecia Stauch versus Kansas, case number to be determined in the United States District Court. But this isn't really a lawsuit. It's to document what? For documentation purposes for central office to exhaust the final remedy before filing the actual complaint. Copy was made on 10/24. So here's what she said on 10/24. The interstate transfer deprives the inmate of liberty interest protected by due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Inmate is illegally restrained of her liberties. Shame on her, dude. I can't stand somebody like that. Like, writing it out like a lawsuit and trying to threaten and think you're going to be given your way. Like, I just can't. Ugh. She puts everything they're violating and what the grievance numbers were. Purpose of providing adequate quarters, care, and an appropriate program of rehabilitation or treatment. Inmates shall be treated in a reasonable and humane manner and shall be cared for and treated equally with such similar inmates. ADSEG is atypical because no prison in the U.S. to which one might be transferred for non-disciplinary reasons is more restrictive. Denial of mental health care, and it rises to the level listed in Article 11. The transfer to this state has infringed on my rights. Basically what she sent to the secretary in that letter. Here's her cruel and unusual. The comparison group shows that added seg is atypical, might be atypical for any prison in the U.S. to which I might be transferred. And then she puts no pod time, no human contact or stimulation, no participation in programs, no church, exercise, gym, in kennel. What? No visits or job, no mental health, no outside wellness, in kennel, PTSD. 1 hour. Is she saying that she has PTSD like from being in a kennel? Sorry, you go to seg when you get in trouble. That's the way it is. Don't go to prison. It's not a cruise. She said, inmate went from being out all day and no behavior issues to locked down 80% of the time, to include but not limited to with institutional violent offenders. What are you? The fact that Letecia Stauch, who is absolutely violent, is complaining that she is housed with violent offenders. Bitch. I'm sorry. I'm getting mad. Let me take a chill pill. It's just bullshit. With violent offenders. Oh my God. Domestic disputes exposure, disruptive behaviors, PREA offenders, and discrimination for being on interstate compact. The court ruled that if the prison were a country club where prisoners spent a great deal of time outside their cell, then the discrimination would be illegal. TCF and Denver Women's both had these options for those without behavior issues, but you have behavior issues. You got in trouble tons of times. You threw water with shit in it out of the toilet on your cellmate because she wanted to be moved. The point system at KDOC has me at 12 points and potential 9 points in February to be in the suggested housing. However, the facility engages in practices to impose punishment for improper purposes. Please see initial page explaining unreasonable and exact claim to include but not limited to the validity of the security issue and the reliability of the informants. All information was unfounded. KDOC is placing extreme mental anguish on inmate because she does not have adequate mental health services with these discriminatory methods. And as a result of prior treatment process at CDOC to include prior mental health treatment with an emotional support animal, KDOC even blocks and more to an area to allow the inmate to be a part of these comparable services from CDOC. What? So she's saying before she went to jail, I guess, because you remember her and Harley talking about the emotional support animals? I'm guessing she's saying that she has had prior treatments at CDOC for mental health and prior mental health treatment before jail with an emotional support animal. And now you're not letting me see anyone for my mental health? I used to have an emotional support dog. How fucking dare you? Oh my God. All of this just to get a dog. Jen says it's possible. I think she's trying to get moved too, though. I think she has a few things she wants. My God. I bet she knows who to try that nasty shit with because, baby, if that had been the wrong one, she would have been buried in the prison yard. What did MK say? Yeah, flicking her nasty dookie on folks. Yeah, and you ain't lying. She would have been. I'm surprised she hasn't been yet for just what she did while she's in there. I don't like to mix too much of like her, because I've covered her life in jail and prison for a while now. The different claims that she's made, the lawsuits, some of her calls. And Jen and I don't really like to mix when we're doing some of that with the case, because Gannon deserves respect and not to be tied to her fucking bullshit for life, for forever. I mean, for eternity. But let's not forget what she did to be here in the first place. He had a gunshot wound, several skull fractures, and 18 stab wounds. She was exceptionally violent. She's one of the most evil people I've ever seen following true crime. You think you don't deserve to be with violent offenders? You think you deserve an emotional support dog? Sorry. When you do that to a sweet, precious baby who has his whole life ahead of him, bitch, you get what you get. Now, I don't think she should be sexually assaulted, like I said earlier, and all of that, but let's not forget how actually violent she is. Okay. Many times, she really did. Okay, let's keep going. She says the result of Section C, meaning the result of me not getting mental health care in here, induces depression, anxiety, emptiness, voices, bad thoughts that were not present, cognitive delays, lack of exercise that causes extreme stomach issues, known stomach diagnosis, and no therapy or rehabilitation. That was in place of CDOC. Instead, regression is present. No thoughts of suicide at this time, though. Yeah, make sure to put that so they don't lock your ass up again or put you. She wants to say she wants mental health care, but she doesn't want to go to like the mental health ward. No. The transfer to this state has infringed on my constitutional rights and present confinement is invalid. The receiving state should provide adequate quarters care and appropriate rehabilitation treatment. The receiving state shall not deprive inmates of any said rights if inmate would have had those in the sending state. Inmate would have had these 1st, 8th, and 14th in Colorado. Now, her religious violations. We know about this if you've been following the lawsuit, but I'm glad they've included all of these exhibits at the end in case you haven't followed. So now you kind of can catch up. You definitely want to see the Martinez report, though, if you are interested in this, because that's where they did an investigation and they had to put a report out to the court in this case, and it includes some of what she was claiming and what actually happened. And that's where we learned about the stinky ass sweatpants she sold on eBay. And that's why she lost her tablet, things like that. So it says the facility has a practice in place to force individuals to attend church on the grounds that they practice that religion. The basis for this is there are no alternative means of exercising the right that remains open to prisoners. Available alternates are absent unless inmate changes religion. Ex-Jewish, as there were no services for this, and I asked to attend church services alternate and was denied. Kosher diet. Practicing significance for a practicing Jew is justified. An inmate is entitled to a constitutional protection under U.S. versus Kansas. The result should have been a nutritionally sound diet with kosher requirements. This would not affect security or discipline. They took the diet from you because they saw you eating food that wasn't kosher. It's well known that, and I've heard this long before we started doing this lawsuit, that the kosher meals in jail were way better quality than what they're feeding everybody else on the regular. So then she says, prisoner has burden of proof, according to case law, that security concerns denying services through substantial evidence. Denying this First Amendment right is due to an unreasonable and or exaggerated claim. This mistreatment is not based on a genuine security concern. I do not pose a safety threat. Privileges have not been abused at a prior time, and prisoner does not have prior records of of misconduct, which reasonably demonstrate a high degree of probability that the individual would misuse the opportunity. So she's saying she doesn't have any prior records of misbehaving in jail or violence, I suppose. Just forget why she's in prison for the rest of her life to begin with, because, that matters. That's going to matter, and where you're housed and who you're housed with. And just forget about the time she attacked other inmates with, bodily fluids, and forget about all the other things she did to get in trouble, breaking stuff and throwing fits and removing screws and toilet talking and just all the other bullshit. Nah, she doesn't have any prior records of misconduct. In fact, the false security concern is a cover-up for legal actions from the inmate and a retaliative method the prison is engaging in. In addition, the independent evaluation of the CIs and their reliability include those with a personality disorder and or delusions diagnosis or other mental health illnesses, and a history of attempts at the prison, both physical escape or mental escape via suicide. Finally, there is no evidence before you about a plan to escape. No prior convictions and no founded information to allude to that. This is a retaliation method for threatened litigation and illegal detention. Okay, hold up, because I forgot about something. She says there's no evidence of prior escape or anything like that. We have her the day she's arrested, or the day she's being transferred to Colorado, when she's first arrested, trying to escape, hitting a CI in the head with a monster can. Okay, then the window thing I was talking about. So it's not just one. And that's another violent act. She's fucking delusional. Forgot about her disassembling her toilet. Call me Sadie. She has had roommates at times. It depends, but she also manipulates to get moved to where she wants to be and shit like that. She's one of those women that manipulates every situation around her. She's dishonest, and it's all about what she can get. Doesn't matter who you hurt. Doesn't matter if it's wrong what you're doing. Like most of us, we don't just not do things because it's illegal or whatever. Sometimes we just know it's wrong, and we wouldn't want to do that. We don't want to hurt anybody. We want to do the right thing. Oh, hell no, not Letecia. Letecia will do anything and everything. She will use every person around her in her life, animals, anything, to get what she wants. She might say one thing, really trying to get another thing, and you have to be on your toes and always doing mental gymnastics, getting a workout from her ass. It is gross. It's disgusting, but that is what she does. You better believe everything she does, there is a reason behind it. There's a plan. Oh, God. Comparison group. So she starts writing down violent offenders and where they're housed, which, okay, you are supposed to be housed similarly situated to people with similar crimes to yours. But I remember that from some of the other paperwork during this, the similarly situated, they call it. Look at here. Tria Evans was in jail cell, but tried to escape because God told her to. Note, individual that is unreliable. Several lifers are at the compound. Note, I have several more, but included a few for this purpose only. Inmate does not have disciplinary issues, and the escape claims are claims for personal gain, media, HP case. What's that? Media, housing manipulation, and she names people, to have their own cells and are not founded with any validity. Inmate does not have institutional violent points or escape convictions. They didn't charge her like they could have. They charged her within the jail for most of the stuff she did in jail in Colorado, but that hitting this person on the way, they didn't charge her. She already had, I guess because she already had so many, I don't know why, but she was going to be in there for life. They should have, because look at her here. I don't have any escape convictions. I'm not a safety concern either, as I've been housed with institutional violent offenders at KDOC. Bitch, you are institutionally violent. Let me stop, y'all. This is... Note, Selena's had former investigation for escape. Evans tried to escape out of 2 gates, and Stripe met with Miller on 10-5 and was told she can't move. Housing manipulation. Look at her. She's like, okay, well, if we're not allowed, these people are doing it, so she wants them not to be allowed too. She can't just mind her own damn business. Hey, Meatfoot. Yeah, rat. Even though she claims all the time she's not a snitch, we have lots of evidence that that's not true. Hey, girls, Nana. Yeah, she's snitching on other people. Unbelievable. Inmate has exhausted all remedies and set foundation for a claim. We ain't going to get through even half of this. It's going to be a minute. We're going to be going through her claims and their responses for a couple of days maybe. So, remedy requested. Remove the invalid administrative sex status and move inmate to the compound to compare to housing inmate would have in home state. This can eliminate the constitutional violations, as there are many services, programs, etc. that will improve all areas physically and mentally. Eliminate the discrimination and false current, past, and future unfounded claims. Oh my God, look at what she did. So remember, this is all in her potential lawsuit that will be coming if you don't give me my way. So she had only been in jail here for 3 months, and she's not housed where she wants to be. So she threatens them with this lawsuit to get moved within 3 months. I just can't get over how fucking manipulative she is. That's insane. Or if you don't want to move me, and then it will get rid of all the other claims because I'll be mentally well and I'll be doing better. It'll just get rid of all, can eliminate the constitutional violations. Yes, Lil Red, it's 162 for me too. If you don't, and I'm on 35, if you don't want to move, do this and eliminate the right here, this can eliminate the constitutional violations, as there are many programs that will improve all areas, then you can revoke the ICC agreement and send me back to Colorado to stop depriving me of liberty, interest, and present confinement violations. But aren't you also, it was dismissed, but she was suing Colorado jails as well? When you read in that drawl, it always makes me think of the song Stacy's Mom. Really? I wonder why. That's funny. I have to put a little sass in, when we're reading her claims. But she knows all the statutes. Stacy's Mom. How did her husband deal with her psychotic self? He was not there. I was about to say I have no idea, but I do. He was not there that much, I guess. That's what I think. But okay, let's see what we have next. Now we're on to Exhibit 2. Oh, wait, we have to see the response from Exhibit 1. So she sends all of this in October to the secretary, and he responds with this. What did he say back? This is going to be interesting. This is it's actually the secretary's designee. So they say, I have received your correspondence to the Secretary of Corrections seeking resolution of the issues that are not emergencies and are not special kinds of problems. Then they put KAR 44-15101, inmate or parolee grievance procedure, informal resolution, formal levels. Before utilizing the grievance procedure, the inmate shall be responsible for attempting to reach an informal resolution of the matter with the personnel who worked with the inmate on a direct or daily basis. An inmate in a facility or parole setting shall contact the unit team members for the attempt at informal resolution. That attempt shall be documented. The facility's inmate request forms may be used to document. If this resolution attempt fails, The grievance system may then be used. If an emergency exists and a resolution could not be obtained, the inmate may go directly into the process. You have shown no evidence that you have attempted to reach an informal resolution of these matters with the staff you work with on a direct or daily basis using the grievance process. For this reason, your correspondence is being returned to you. That's it. Her threats of the lawsuit, all this, and even has it written out like it's actual legal paperwork on notebook paper. Case number to be determined. But don't worry, this is just for documentation purposes before filing the actual complaint. But all of this, and they responded at that short little statement. Okay, so now Exhibit 2. Here's her next complaint. And these are the responses on appeal. So here's what she sent back. And this happened in January. So the first one was October, and now we're into January. I think after we get through this, we'll pause and come back tomorrow. So, but I'm going to hang out and talk to you guys for a minute after we read through this. Just shoot the shit. Tell the secretary what you feel the principal administrator should have done and state what action you believe the secretary should state. So it's a grievance that ends with 2-9. And she says, oh God, she can't write it here. She had to attach a sheet. Okay. And then she lists a case law thing. Says the Secretary of Corrections is directed to carry, but the compact. Remedy request. Revocation of the interstate compact to prevent filing a habeas corpus for illegal detention. Again, revoke my interstate compact. Send me back to Colorado, or I'm going to file a habeas corpus that you're illegally detaining me. Again, threatening you. So here's what her grievance says. She puts Article 4 of the Interstate Corrections Compact says all inmates who may be confined in an institution pursuant to the provisions of the compact shall be treated a reasonable and humane manner and shall be cared for and treated equally with such similar inmates of the receiving state. Inmates may be confined pursuant to the laws of the KSA, sending state, and not be denied civil liberties. This statute states This statute states the Secretary of Corrections is hereby authorized and directed to do all things necessary or incidental to the carrying out of the compact in every particular power. Note, I did go through Unit Team and gave them several copies of the Form 9s. Rambo. Sorry, you guys. The facility does not have numbers in paper Form 9s, so I labeled them 12, 10, 11, 12, 19, and 22. Oh, God, 26, 27, 34, and 32. Here are the electronic numbers and a bunch of grievance numbers. She says she's no longer safe in KDOC and the facility has deemed her a security threat. Extra. The following shows more examples of civil liberties violations. These were open for months. Negligence. Others are still open in past. These are open for months, negligence, others are still open, past time frame. Staff did injury my right finger. Staff did injury my right ring finger and are trying to cover it up. The officer should have made a report. I was sexually harassed and assaulted by a staff member and TCF is in violation. A, improper handling of PREA. B, violation of PREA and medical. C, retaliation for filing the PREA. D, Valerie Watts, the PREA coordinator, failure to perform job duties. So she was added to the lawsuit. She said she's not able to go to the law library. She's not similarly situated with other inmates. And she's had religious and personal safety violations. Wait, let's see. Oh, and then she sends this, which was a response to a grievance where they said that she didn't follow procedure and the interstate compact cases require you to follow classification requirements, all of this, but she notes under it, this is not a classification issue and it is under equal protection as the statutes are being violated. This response is moot, lack of knowledge, and then grievance number. Hold on. Then she puts this, another response she got from them. I did attach originally. I gave them to Miss Butter. Then she attaches this. She says, I am being denied civil liberties in Kansas Department of Corrections. She shows that it was received. She shows this that she sent in October. Says first she made an accusation saying I made comments to residents. This was unfounded and false. If I made a comment that you molested a child, it would have been the same. A lie and unfounded and a violation of due process. All inmates confined shall be treated in a reasonable and humane manner. So this is another request she made. She's showing like all of this is proving my point, basically. Let's see. Inmates in the comparison chart that you have allowed to be treated differently. Charity Blackman, her civil liberties were met. Michaela Spencer went to her civil liberties were met. And Heather Jones, her civil liberties were met. Oh my God. The statues, not the freaking statues, not statutes. You know, like, oh, okay, let's see what else we got here. She's just showing more that the education program, response to education program, more. Okay, so that's Exhibit 4. We're not going to go forward. So here's her long thing, and let's see what they responded to her, because that's all they have, like a finder of fact and everything. And then we'll start off tomorrow on Exhibit 4. They said, well, here's the first one. Unofficial grievance response. Complaint. Multiple concerns involving stomach issues, mental health treatment. Your stomach issues, mental health treatment, and diet. Finding of facts by clinical reviewer. The Kansas Department of Corrections medical health authorities reviewed the correspondence, site response behavioral health review, and EHR. The resident contacted our office through written letter for the above concerns. Per the site response, she has access to behavioral health sick call daily and receives behavioral health special needs monitoring. In terms of a kosher diet, this is a religious diet outside the scope of medical or behavioral health. She is currently being followed by the site medical director for stomach complaints, which have been chronic. She has not been receptive to behavioral health intervention and has not been compliant with psychiatric or medical prescriptions. So she's not taking her money or her meds, money. She's not taking her medicine and she's not been doing like the counseling and stuff they want. Per the chart, she has seen behavioral health every 1 week to 1 month. She says, they're not giving me behavioral health treatment. They're like, she's seen every week to every month. Initially on 8/21, she presented as having difficulty adjusting to a new environment and went to the psychiatrist. Her next visit was on September 1st. She walked out after being informed that the provider for psychiatry would not be present. She was seen again on September 25th per telehealth. She reported her depression level out of 5 and her depression at about an 8. She claimed she never got any time out in the yard and stated she was always anxious. She reported she had been in a domestic violent relationship. And that her cellmate's fight with the girlfriend was stressing her. Were you the violent one? I know there was something before Al that happened, but okay, let me continue. I don't think that's true. But the plan was to continue to work on coping skills and to access behavioral health as needed. She was going to continue special needs visits monthly. At her last visit with the psych nurse for medication management 30 days after discontinuing clonidine, she presented as defensive, evasive, and mistrustful. Not Tisha. Her mood was anxious, angry, and irritable. Thought content, preoccupations, ruminations, deprecatory insight mostly blames others for problems with difficulty acknowledging presence of psychiatric problems. Per the site response, Ms. Stauch has rejected or refused behavioral health treatment and interventions offered to her. Her presentation often is not consistent with her reported mood. She continues to have ongoing access to behavioral health and medical care. Conclusions made by clinical reviewer. In reviewing her chart and the site response, I can see no lack of access to mental health care. She has not identified as Orthodox Jewish and therefore has no need for a diet based on religious prescriptions. She needs to continue to work with behavioral health to alleviate her symptoms. She has acknowledged per the chart that she shows how to access behavioral health practitioners. I see no description of a seizure disorder in her chart other than being listed in her diagnosis. No further recommendation. And then they said to her long thing, her response, their response to that, all that we just read, another threat of a lawsuit, basically. The response provided to the inmate by staff at the facility is incorporated herein by reference. That's what we just read. On appeal, the inmate offers no evidence or argument that suggests the response rendered by staff at the facility is wrong. Conclusions made. The response rendered to the inmate by staff at the facility is appropriate. All residents are required to go through the process of classification and earning levels. You are not illegally detained. You were found guilty of your charges and sentenced accordingly. If you feel you have an issue for appeal, you need to go through the courts and seek remedy. We house you by compact at the request of the state of Colorado. If you would no longer like to be on compact, that is their decision to make, and you need to contact them. Boom. Darcy Holthus. This chat is lit. You are not illegally detained. You were found guilty, bitch, and you go where you go. Sorry. Hey, Jay. Oh my God, that's too funny. I cannot believe that. What did Tess say? Thanks for calling 1555 T bullshit. You will be lawyered up after a short PB sandwich break. While you wait for everything. Well, there we go. And look, you guys, I'm going to stop here because tomorrow we're going to start. Oh, geez. Because we just read through all of this. So tomorrow we start on Exhibit 4, which is her next round of complaints and what happened. But it's pretty interesting. The first time she complains, she writes out the lawsuit she's threatening to file if they don't give her way. The second time she threatens again. She throws other inmates under the bus. She's just, I'm not surprised, but then again, I am. She's always surprising me with her bullshit. Let's see. I'm going to keep it. Oh, I am going to go immediately and upload this to Patreon on the free tier. So if you guys are interested, you can go over there and read ahead for tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there because I got to go get my youngin' from a game. So thank you guys for listening. My Lord. This might be my favorite filing in the lawsuit because we're seeing these grievances and it makes sense. It's easier to follow. Some of it has been very confusing. Her filings, especially. The Martinez report was also pretty interesting, but yeah, we'll see. I wonder what's going to happen. Is it going to get thrown out? And if it does, then what? What is she going to do? I don't know. You guys. It's so much more fun with commentary. Well, we'll be finishing tomorrow. I'll watch the rewind. Your rewind, not locale rewind. I like rewind. I like it a lot. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. If you want to read it, like I said, I'll go upload it right now before I leave. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Just stay tuned. I'll look for the live scheduled. I don't know exactly what time it's going to be yet, but I will definitely set it up as soon as I can. Thank you to the mods. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you to the chat. And yeah, have a good night. Bye.